Welcome to this very special episode of The Time Advantage. Today, we're diving into something unique, a once a year opportunity to reflect, reset, optimize our lives Ramadan. Now, you might be thinking, what does Ramadan have to do with productivity, and how does it apply to you? Whether you're observing Ramadan, managing personal well being, or navigating a high intensity work period, this episode will help you master energy, focus, and balance. Because the principles that make Ramadan a productivity reset are strategies that can benefit anyone and everyone, regardless of faith or background. What you'll gain today: a deeper understanding of how structured resets impact productivity, practical strategies for energy and workload management, corporate friendly insights applicable to all professionals, a seamless way to integrate work life balance without burnout. Now, before we dive into strategies, a quick note: everyone's work situation is different. Some of you have flexible schedules, while others have rigid corporate environments. The key is to take what resonates with you and apply it in a way that fits your personal and professional responsibilities. Not every approach will work for everyone, so feel free to adapt based on what makes sense for you and your role and lifestyle. And none of what will be mentioned constitutes medical advice, so please consult with your doctor or medical professional. Before diving into tactics, let's break this down into four key areas that impact a professional's performance during Ramadan or any period of high personal demands. Number one, spiritual resilience, how mindset shapes productivity. Number two, physical energy, managing food, sleep, and natural energy rhythms. Number three, social balance, work, family, and maintaining meaningful relationships. And number four, routine strategy, so building sustainable habits that prevent burnout. These four areas determine whether you thrive or just survive during Ramadan or any high stakes period. For many, Ramadan may seem like a challenge: long fasting hours, early mornings, and spending the late nights in prayer. But in reality, it's a time of purification, self discipline, and heightened focus. The secret? Ramadan disrupts automation. It forces us to reassess our daily routines, remove distractions, and live with greater intentionality. It's a powerful reset, spiritually and professionally. So, what does this mean for productivity? It's not about doing more, it's about doing better. Ramadan aligns with Barakah culture, where success is not just about effort, but about divine facilitation. The challenge: how do we align productivity with structured resets like Ramadan? Let's break it down. Imagine you're part of a busy team working on a big project. Half the team is fasting for Ramadan, and by midday, energy levels drop, focus fades, and meetings feel harder to get through. Some people seem to handle it just fine, while others are struggling to keep up. What makes the difference? It's not about working longer hours or pushing through exhaustion, it's about using the right strategies. In this episode, we'll talk about how anyone can stay productive and balanced, whether fasting or just dealing with a demanding schedule. One of the biggest mistakes people make in Ramadan is treating it like a sprint instead of a marathon. But this applies beyond Ramadan. Have you ever seen colleagues start a project with high energy, working overtime, only to burn out halfway through? The same applies during Ramadan, but also during work deadlines, product launches, and major corporate events. The fix: think like a marathon runner. Consistent effort through intense bursts, plan energy distributions for long term projects, avoid early burnout, pace yourself. If you start strong but fade out by the middle, you're missing the most crucial part of success. Let's talk about how to structure your productivity for long term results. Strategic workload distribution. Plan your month, not just your days. So, pre Ramadan prep, if possible, front load high complexity tasks before Ramadan begins. And through week 1 to 2, high intensity workload. So, prioritize deep work and analysis. Week 3, reduce excess commitments and delegate where possible. Week 4, the last 10 nights, reduce workload, scale down meetings, and automate tasks to focus on personal growth. For all professionals, apply this principle when managing energy during high front load intensive work and taper off towards critical deadlines. Energy management. Generate, don't force it. Too often, professionals assume energy is fixed. They push through fatigue, hoping to power through until exhaustion forces them to stop. This is why energy generation is key for everyone. Your body doesn't have energy, it generates it. Treat Ramadan or any peak work phase like endurance training, small energy bursts, not all out sprints. Mastering energy rhythms is what separates those who thrive from those who burn out, whether you're fasting or just facing a high intensity workload. Leverage energy peaks and lows in structured resets. So, how this applies to your day would be the typically peak productivity time is in the morning. So, in a work schedule, this can be between 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So, use this for high focus tasks like strategy work and problem solving. Use the midday slump, which is typically ranges between 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., and the length of this time can vary, shifts to admin work, emails, and meetings. The afternoon dip, which is between 4 p.m. to iftar time, and for those that don't know, iftar is the post fasting meal. So in this time, avoid deep work. Use this time for planning and reviewing. For all professionals, identify your own energy peaks and structure your work accordingly to optimize cognitive function, whether fasting, traveling, or managing heavy workloads. Beating caffeine dependency for fasting and non fasting professionals. If your first thought in the morning is, I need coffee to function, you're not alone. But your energy isn't actually dependent on caffeine, it's about how you manage your body's rhythm. Here are some caffeine free energy boosting strategies for everyone. For non fasting professionals, stay hydrated throughout the day as dehydration worsens fatigue. For fasting professionals, focus on hydrating strategically during suhoor, the pre dawn meal, and iftar, the post sunset meal, to maintain energy levels. Avoid excessive caffeine, which can lead to dehydration. Use high energy foods, so low GI foods, to sustain energy longer, and leverage naps and structured work sprints for sustainable performance. Your energy isn't dependent on caffeine. If you follow the right steps, you'll have sustained focus without the afternoon crash. Interval productivity, the secret to deep work. Ever noticed how top professionals work in focus bursts instead of non stop grinding? It's because they structure their work in intervals. This applies across industries. Try these work strategies. So, the 25-5 rule: work for 25 minutes and break for 5 minutes. Or the 50-10 rule, which is work for 50 minutes and break for 10 minutes. Have email free afternoons to combat decision fatigue. So, by this I mean you can try to block off a particular period in the afternoon, let's say between 2 to 3 p.m., as an email free window to preserve your focus. Use voice notes and asynchronous updates instead of constant live messaging. For all professionals, reduce mid afternoon distractions by batching emails and Slack messages for specific time slots, especially during peak stress periods. Decision deferral, reduce mental fatigue. Use templates and to reduce unnecessary choices for routine decisions. For all professionals, apply decision deferral during high stress work periods to maintain clarity, ensuring mental energy is reserved for strategic decisions. Communication alignment, managing workplace expectations. So, Before Ramadan, communicate your availability changes in advance. Use team documentation and asynchronous tools to reduce the need for real time responses and unnecessary meetings. For all professionals, proactively set communication boundaries when managing workload shifts due to personal commitments or travel. Work life balance and setting boundaries. Prioritize core work during peak hours. Avoid post iftar work unless necessary. And set hard boundaries on evening work. If unavoidable, limit evening work with a strict shutdown ritual. For all professionals, use structured work blocks, maintain a digital shutdown after a suitable time when the workday finishes, and avoid overextending work into personal life. Ramadan isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. It teaches us intentionality, discipline, and focus. And these are lessons that extend beyond Ramadan itself. So, whether you're fasting, adjusting to a new routine, or looking for ways to optimize your productivity under unconventional circumstances, remember this: sustained success comes from balance between work, rest, and purpose. Remember, small shifts create big impact. Till next time.